I got that juicy sweet. I got that juicy sweet. Big ass booty in between the sheets. I'm just playing, y'all. What's good? What's good? All right. So for Britt Baker, y'all already see that. Y'all already see what's on that screen. Y'all already see. So I guess people are finally in AEW is like so sick and tired of, I guess, like big Britt Baker's trash, right? Because I mean, we've heard the reports, we've seen stuff, we even heard stuff like, she's difficult to work with, she's hurting people backstage. Her and Thunder Rosa had got into it, and they remember the team that it was her and Jamie Hayter. They was on the team together, right? And that broke apart because apparently there was some stuff backstage that Britt Baker was hard to work with Jamie Hayter, and then Jamie Hayter didn't want to work with her at all. And then there was like the stuff about her saying some crazy shit. Well, I think she was either talking shit about, I think, either MJF or about his girl and whatever. Something happened, and next thing you know, MJF heard about this and was just like, yo, what's going on? Like, I heard you talking shit, right? So, and then now the reports is going around that she might be done with AEW. But here's the thing about that. Tony Khan ain't gonna release her. He's not gonna release her. The only time he released anybody was when allegations like of SA, I think, what was it? I think back in 2020, I think was what was the speaking out? No, I think, was it the speaking out movement? I think it was like the speaking out movement that they that the female wrestlers was coming out saying that, certain wrestlers did X, Y, and Z, which had Tony Khan was like, because some of those wrestlers was in his company and he had to release them. And then there was some wrestlers that was interested in coming to the company, and he was just like, no, you can't come to this company, right? But regardless of that fact, that was like the only time anybody got like released, or from my knowledge and my recollection, like that was the only time anybody got released. But majority of the times, people, like when their contracts was up, they basically left, and then Punk basically quit. So that's like the only times I can remember like anybody either leaving or probably getting fired. But with Britt Baker, nah, Tony ain't gonna release her. He's not. He's just gonna put her like on the, what is they call it, like the alumni category of, you're just gonna be a wrestler I don't use. I'm gonna pay you a ton of money just to sit at home and do nothing. And it's so stupid because it's like, I get it. Like, that's why people call Tony Khan a money mark. That's why people call him a money mark, because instead of you like giving people money just to sit at home, no, release them. Fucking release them. There's no point on like, oh well, I'm gonna keep you home and you just get hit a check and be nice. No, if this woman is being a whole menace backstage, everybody's coming out like, man, Britt Baker, she's a damn bitch, man. I don't fucking work with her, man. Like she this and that. It's like, no. I mean, anybody could have seen the signs early, and I feel like you could have seen the signs early about Britt Baker, because it seemed like there was something a little bit off about her, maybe a little narcissistic, right? Maybe a little sarcastic, a little sarcastic, right? It's like I felt like the signs are always there, but nobody didn't really see it. And our boy, Adam Cole. Oh boy, it was just like he didn't even see it, and it was clear, and the signs was clearly there. Like, she seemed like she was that type of girl, so it was just like the signs is already there. But then you hear like rumors and speculations of her sleeping around with wrestlers. Either Swerve Strickland, apparently there was rumors he got a piece. We heard rumors that Christian got a piece. There was even speculated rumors that there was a time that MJF was interested, and then we heard Tony Khan got a piece. It's like, whatever it was, the rumors that went around about her, it was just too much. And if I was Tony Khan, but he's not a boss, he's just a friend. If I was the boss of that company, and I'm hearing all of this stuff, right? And if you gave her like 3 chances and she still fucked up, it's like, okay, time to go. I can't be having you in my company and you doing all this weird shit. I already got all these females here. All right, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to go. Because now, granted, if Britt Baker was in fear for her spot and maybe she was trying to like maybe bury some wrestlers, or maybe trying to, use her wrestling politics, right? Politically her way backstage or whatever. Again, it wasn't going to work out the way that she probably intended to. And at the time when AEW was starting up, like, yeah, you could say she was one of the faces of AEW. Well, female wrestlers, right? She was one of the faces. But then as time grew on, that's when you had more and more wrestlers that came into the company. And then you had Mercedes Moné. And then you had like all these other wrestlers that was there. And they eventually sort of like came up. And then Britt Baker was like left in the dark. Now, you could say... see, I want to play devil's advocate here, because I would like to say two parties is at fault here. Obviously, Britt Baker completely, 100%, I would say. And then maybe the other half could be Tony Khan, because maybe, well, we already seen like this man is very directionless when it comes down to the booking, but maybe she probably seen something and probably was like, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I didn't want to work with this person. Maybe I want to do it this way. And then Tony Khan was just like, well, you got to do it anyway. It's not like you sucking me off or anything, so you got to do it. And then she probably like, all right, fuck it, I might as well do it. It gets like really nasty in the works of, a person like that. Because I would have said like when Charlotte Flair and Becky, when they had like that little beef at the time, when they was beefing at the time, I thought that Charlotte Flair looked like she was difficult to work with. Because I mean, we don't really know what really happened between like Becky and Charlotte at the time, but I don't know, like the way like Charlotte was coming off, I'm like, but see, if Charlotte was half of anything of Britt Baker, she would have, in my honest opinion, she probably would have got let go or any of that, because of the name value that she carries. And that's the thing, Britt Baker doesn't have any name value. She doesn't at all. It's just like, yeah, her only name value is that she's actually a dentist. That's the only name value that she has. And technically, she doesn't really need wrestling. She can just go back to being a dentist. She doesn't really need wrestling. But it's just that it sucks, because it's like she could have been so much more if she wasn't crazy. Like, she could have been so much more. Right now, granted, we know that she had a stroke and she had like health problems in the past, right? But I feel like even with the stuff that you're going through and dealing with, it doesn't give you the right to be a dick. It doesn't give you the right to be a bitch to everybody else and cause dramas and start fights backstage. I feel like it doesn't give you the right to do that. And we don't know, like, in her position, like maybe she did felt like she had it all, like, well, I'm a dentist and I'm a wrestler, and maybe I don't really need this as much as you guys do. It's a lot of things that we don't fully know about, Britt Baker, and the reason why she did the things that she did. But the big question is if she will, like, if Tony Khan isn't dumb enough to forgive her and try to have her still stay there, if something does happen to Britt Baker where she has to leave AEW, the big question is, will WWE pick her up, right? Would they pick her up, or would TNA pick her up? Because everybody knows what's going on right now with the Tessa Blanchard stuff, but I wonder if TNA would pick her up, right? That shit would be fucking crazy. Tessa Blanchard and Britt Baker, I think those two would be a fucking headache on its own. But then again, I feel like it's different for Tessa Blanchard, because she's on a redemption arc, which nobody is probably believing or care about. But that shit would be quite interesting. But if the WWE would have picked her up, they would have had to like really, really be like looking at her through a lens and be like, because we don't know you. It's not like with Punk, where Punk been in the WWE for a longer time, had a falling out with the company, and then came back. Even though they probably are maybe still looking at him through a microscope, but because he been there with them and he came back and he smoothed things over with like Triple H, because we knew that they had problems. He smoothed things out with him, so everything is essentially fine. Britt Baker's new. She would be new if she would have been over there and they'd be like, listen, after shit you was doing in AEW, you can't do that shit here. Otherwise, you gotta go. But I don't even think they'll probably pick her up, because there's so much drama around. I don't think they'll probably pick her up. I'd be shocked if they do. I wouldn't be surprised if TNA would. I wouldn't be surprised. But I would be shocked if the WWE decides to pick up Britt Baker and then she's over there in the WWE. Now imagine that shit. Her and Charlotte Flair, or her and Becky Lynch. The women in that locker room ain't gonna put up with that shit. They will not put up with that shit, because the perfect example would be with Enzo Amore. when Enzo Amore was, I guess, being annoying, whatever the fuck he was doing back in, I think, what, 2016? Like 2015, 2016, and they was booing him. Well, not booing him, but they got rid of him out the locker room. He had to get on his own bus or whatever. He couldn't be with the boys. It was crazy. But again, he sort of did it to himself. But again, I don't think anybody's gonna tolerate that stuff if she decides to go to the WWE. So that's why it's so interesting that in AEW right now, with everything that's going on with the company, they all like, nah, we banding together on this one. We don't want her here. But Tony Khan's just going to do like the nicest thing he could possibly do and just say, well, I'm not going to fire her, but she could just stay at home and I could just give her money. And it's like, what is that? Tony, it's like rewarding a child for bad behavior. You know, it's like rewarding a child for bad behavior. Where it's like, if you know the child did wrong and you don't want to spank the child, and you like, no, little John, no, I don't want to put my hands on him. So, you know what? Here's some ice cream, okay? Stop doing that, all right? Here's some Transformer toys. Here's an Optimus Prime. Stop being bad, okay? It's like rewarding a fucking child with bad behavior, and it's like, what the fuck he's doing? Like, that's why I'm like, if I was Tony Khan, I would like seriously like gotten rid of this woman. Like, come on, like you're causing too much. Like, you go somewhere. You got your license. You have a career to fall back on if this wrestling stuff doesn't work out for you. Time to go, right? If anybody else who wants to work doesn't want to cause drama, right? You can stay and you can work. But her, nah, man. That's why I said, but he's not a boss. He's a friend. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about the Britt Baker situation. Do you believe that she's not in the wrong for what she's doing? She's a complete angel. She's a saint. She's a she's a queen, and she does nothing wrong? Or do y'all believe that, nah, this woman is fucking crazy, narcissist, full of nepotism, right? Sarcastic witch that needs to be out the company and just let everybody breathe in peace without her presence being there. But yeah, that's for today. So I'll catch y'all in the next one.